Good morning, Cape City. Good morning. Once again, we're on double secret probation. If you notice, the district governor is in attendance. And you know, we're always thinking about you, Cookie. It was just last week, if y'all that were here remember, Beth Sheffield stood up and told us that they had taken Cookie to have her hair done,
and her teeth
done, and her teeth cleaned. Then we realized that was her dog.
Somehow that story got back to me. And, I was considering wearing a collar this morning.
If my phone wouldn't cooperate, I was actually going to play the segment there on the YouTube so you could actually see it. Just like it was. Anyway, we're always thinking about it. Dr. Tom Sears has our invocation pledge and Rotary Monday.
Father, we thank you for the opportunity to be here today. We thank you for Rotary and the Civil Service Club. We thank you for this club, the existing members, past members, and our departed members. We thank you for the things that we have done and hopefully we'll do in the future. We thank you for this food in the hands of our parents. We ask these things in thy name. Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We thank, say, and do.
Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned?
They asked us to do Rotary Moment. I don't have a Rotary Moment, I have Rotary Days. When I think back about it, the times, the days and days that we spent at Camp Carefree and days that we spent on Rotary Rebuild, which were very special to me, working with different people, the things we've done. And I thought about Alex Neely, who's no longer in this club, but we were working on one of the Rotary Rebuild houses up in East Greensboro, and I forget, I don't know who picked it, but you know, someone said, all we got to do is a little work in the kitchen and the bathroom. You know, as you walk in, you know that's not even close. And so we're in there and we start taking out cabinets and we take out the jar and we do whatever, and then we take out the rotten floorboards, and then we realize we got rotten floor joists, and so then we got to get the inspector, so we figure out how we're going to scab in the floor joists. And in one case, one house we had to put in new piers. But anyhow, this particular one, we had a lot of work to do, and we were trying to get ready so that people could come in the next day and paint and put in the linoleum. And this is when Pike asked us to raise money to buy us the stove, that particular house, matter of fact. And we were working, and later in the afternoon, people started leaving and whatever, and people that knew Alex, he just quiet and never quit. And he had his tools there, and he had the ability to do. And we were working, and finally, it was obvious it was getting dark. It was at 6:30 or so. And I said, Alex, what are we going to do? He said, listen, we need to get it ready for tomorrow. Well, there's no way I was going to leave him. This is in East Greenville. There's no way I was going to leave him down there by himself. So we left there between 8 and 8:30, but we got it finished so that it did work next day. And that was my Rotary Day.
All right. I remember that house. That's one of the more you work, the farther behind you got. That's a great story. Sergeant at Arms, we got Sergeant Dale.
Sergeant Dale this morning. We have 37 members in attendance today. We've got Governor Billings here with us, and we've got Don Milholin, our speaker, and one guest. We have Ania, but help me with say it, Jim. How are you? Introduce your guest, Jim.
Yeah. It's my pleasure this morning to introduce to you our very first district cultural scholar, Ania Neeb. Ania is a first-year, she's a first year neuroscience, psychology major at ECU, and she just told me this morning she's changed her minor in Hispanics to a major in Hispanics. She will be going over to the University of Granada this summer, a language and cultural study program with some 30 other ECU students. And I'll tell you, she has an impressive list of volunteerism already at her young age. She's going to be a great ambassador for the club and for Rotary. Please welcome her. We have some information on Granada, which we will pass around. Do you want to say a couple of words?
Just thank you very much for offering me this opportunity, because prior to hearing about the scholarship, I didn't realize what impact Rotary made in the community. But now that I'm a member, not exactly a member, but now I'm a recipient scholarship, I'm proud to be a recipient, and I intend to spread the message as far as I can and make more people aware of this. Thank you.
Thank you. It's always good to have a fellow pirate in the room. The pirates.
Hi,
Yes.
an unannounced guest.
Yes.
Yeah, as of yet, she's about to be announced.
Go ahead.
This is Pam Burgess. Pam works with me. She does marketing for our firm, and she has a special request we're going to spring upon you all here in a few minutes and during the Happy Hour section. How about that?
All right. Thank you. Let's see here. We got Danny Farley. Danny, what can you tell us? We've got a lot going on tomorrow.
We're going to have a great rainy day today. And since that's going to happen, we're going to have a wonderful 2 work days at Camp Carefree. The weather is supposed to be in the mid-70s, sunny, partly cloudy. And so we'll start, if whoever can come at 9, let's get started. I've got lumber there. When you see a big pile of lumber, don't get overwhelmed, because I wanted to be able to, they said prime choice lumber, so we're going to choose, and I'm going to take back what we don't need. But that's getting delivered today. So we'll repair the docks, put a coat of sealer on the picnic shelter, little boathouse thing, and if there's some trees and fallen trees in the area, let's take care of that too. And if anybody, I'm actually sending the address to 275 Carefree Lane, Stokesdale. I'll send that out now so everybody knows how to get there.
For the people that haven't been to the camp, when you drive into the camp, maybe tell them which way to go, because the road, there's several ways you can go once you're there.
Once you go into the camp, let's see, you go, I'll read it real quick. Well, you go from, well, just get off 220 on Simpson Road, which there's a little sign there. It's near, what is that gas station?
I think it's a
Shell station up there. And then you turn right immediately on Ram Loop Road. It's like 500 feet away. Then turn left onto Carefree Lane, and you go in to the camp at that road, and it curves in. And it's really pretty out there. They have llamas, ponies. It's just really beautiful facility. You'll see a little road on the right. It's a driveway that goes down to the lake, and that's just before the facility. So just turn that little windy road with, I want to call them white, they're not picket fences, white board fences. They're actually made of plastic, but go down to the lake. We'll have things set up and have a great day of it, hopefully too. And anybody that don't, bring your gloves, you know, don't get, so you don't get any splinters. And I'm trying to work out the details on lunch. I know in the past, I think when you guys did this, they had the Boy Scouts cooking for you. Maybe we'll just do Subway or something. I don't have that all ironed out, but Dale was going to help me on that. Okay. Well, anyway, that's the gist of it. It should be easy. Some skill saws and screws and drill bits and stuff like that.
Those films have a square head, because the boathouse is square head, no one square head.
Yeah, the boathouse is in good shape. We don't have to mess with it. All we're going to do is put the sealer on it. And the other ones are Phillips heads or the actual docks. we're in good shape. Number 2.
And we turn right at the llamas or the paint horses?
All right, thank you, Danny. Let's see here, Ralph, you've been, June 26th, changing to the guard.
26, change of the guard at Company. We're having our board meeting next week to establish the actual price, but we're for sure gonna be less than $25.
Yes, yes. And it will be black tie optional.
Yeah.
It's gonna be classy, you'll get the date.
Black tie. Does that go with the Bermuda shorts, the black tie?
I will if you will.
This will be the last time I ever dress up for a Rotary meeting.
Or socks.
Socks are always up. All right. Jim Kennedy.
What?
Recognize you. Stand up.
Oh, of course.
Last year, you've brought in a new member to our club. And Rotary
Fortunately, she's
International.
on leave right
Well, that's right, but you still get the pin. And Rotary International has recognized your efforts. And there is a nice lapel pin, and there's a pamphlet to go with it.
Thank you.
Thank you for bringing in a new member.
Thank you.
Okay, double secret probation time. District Governor Cookie.
Opportunity, thank you. Yeah, I feel like we need to walk up here. The podium's 100 miles away. Good morning, Gate City.
Good morning.
Thank you for allowing me to come this morning to do a few thank yous and to make a couple of recognitions. First of all, I have had a fun, fantastic year. I want to thank my partner in crime this year, Mike Conrad. You know that the District Foundation Chair, Committee Chair, is the District Governor's partner all year. And if you look, it just checks me out. If you look at the first class banner, it has been a wonderful year, and I do appreciate everything you've done to really push that for us across the district. And we celebrated that at our district conference. I appreciate those of you that attended, and we've looked at the evaluations now, and it turns out that Danny got better ratings than I did. Apparently he's good on stage, but anyway, I want to thank Bobby for helping us with the printing and all the things that he has done for us in the last several years for that. But I want to bring a recognition to Gate City today to recognize you for the best attendance record in our district. I have never seen a sheet like this before. It's reported every month in the district newsletter, if anybody reads the district newsletter. But 100% for Gate City. So fantastic. And I never saw all year anyone come close any month. So we have a plaque of recognition for that. But I will also tell you, and congratulations, Bobby, particularly for the 100% month. That was fantastic. I will tell you that our district co-chairs for membership use many of your ideas as best practices, not only to tell our district about, but the zone has also picked up on a number of those. So you're setting the path for others to follow. And I do feel like the attendance is extraordinarily important for bonding for members and member retention. When you know each other and you have a good time at your meetings, you're gonna keep your members, and I think you've done a great job of doing that. And I congratulate you on that. I also have what was fairly tough this year. Only a club doing a great membership job would earn the presidential citation this year, and Gate City won this with distinction. So congratulations. Rotary International also loves rule followers, and apparently Gate City did a good job of following rules. And they are presented a certificate for setting strategic goals, and you did that using Rotary Club Central. So congratulations.
Barney Fife says, rule number 1, obey all rules.
What's rule
number 2?
Remember rule number 1.
Thank you, Cook. That's awesome. My mother would be proud. All right. Birthdays, anniversaries, Kevin.
We
do not have any birthdays, but we do have anniversaries this week. For a Rotary anniversary, Chip on the 15th was 10 years with Rotary.
How about that?
We've got for wedding anniversaries. On the 15th was Guy and Carrie Rabondo, 15 years. And then on the 16th is Kelly and Kelly Merrill.
He just turned to me and said, I just realized, so I hadn't finished the sentence, but I hope it wasn't.
No.
Thank you, Kevin. Any other announcements from the floor? I don't see Buster Lewis here. Is he hiding? No?
He's out of town.
Oh, I guess you got me for Happy Dollars.
All right.
Chip, I know you got one.
Well, I got at least one. I'm
Look
gonna
at all
put a
that
5
money.
in here because, first off, I invited Pam to come give us a little announcement this morning, and then I forgot she was coming. So, so it's on me. I do apologize, dear. But before we get to Pam, I do want to say that Wilder came home Tuesday night, and well, he was at home, and about 9 o'clock he asked, oh, by the way, I'm running for class president. Cool. We said, that's fantastic. When's the election? What can we do to help? He said, well, it's Thursday. I don't know that we can do much. So last night at midnight, we're working on posters to put up today. And that's when he announced that, oh, I'm going to be really tired if I try to study for those 2 exams I have today. So, you know, you can only do so much for the 17-year-old. Pam works with me in my office. She does marketing for us, and that's her specialty. She's really good at this. But she's also on board out at Camp Weaver. And Camp Weaver is a YMCA camp. Chris's children have been out there. Wilder has been there many years. Turns out Wilder and Pam's son are friends from camp. And so Pam asked me for some help on a special project, and I said, I'll bet we can get Rotary involved. So I'm going to let Pam tell you what she's got.
Hey, good morning all, and thank you so much for having me today. It's a little early for me, but
Me too,
I'm here.
Oh,
I am the 3rd year campaign chair for Camp Weaver and a board member, and have really focused on sending at-risk children and kids of military families to camp each year. So the camp is very dear to my heart, as children are. So Camp Weaver has been awarded the opportunity to build a state-of-the-art playground. And we have gotten this award through Kaboom and Forrester. And we have to build this playground in 1 day. So we are looking for approximately 150 volunteers. And if you have children or high school students who are needing service hours, it's a great opportunity. We are looking to do this on May 31st, which is a Saturday, from 8 to 3. Lunch will be provided. We are trying to get the community really involved in this as a community effort. It's going to be a great day, a big day, a fun day, and just we're trying to get as many people focused to help us do this in 1 day in our community. So we do have a lot of teenagers who are looking for service hours, but the Rotary group, that would be a great opportunity if you wanted to do it as a group or just a few people as a group. We will be glad to post your logo and have you recognized. This is a great community opportunity. So we are just really looking for a lot of people. I myself and several other people are out and about bugging people in the community to come out and help us. Camp Weaver, as you know, is just a fabulous camp, and we're just looking to expand it and continue to build it. And I'm just happy to have the opportunity and be honored to help do this this project with the camp. So it is a state-of-the-art program. I do have some information with me today. I'll be glad to give you some information. And you can also feel free to look at the website at Camp Weaver, because there is some information on there as well. And you can also feel free to call the camp at any time. But May 31st, 8 a.m. to 3. Love to have you guys come. You don't need any experience. So, I mean, building a playground could also mean you could be handing out lunch to somebody too. So, you don't need any experience, but I think it's going to be a fun, great thing to do. So, thank you, and I hope to see you on May 31st.
Chip, can you send that email?
Yes, I'm going to send out the email. And just, I know Tom Sears is thinking about this. Thursday and Friday, they will have sunk the pillars and gotten everything done. This is an assembly project on Saturday. So all the heavy lifting, theoretically, has been done before we get there. So,
Yes.
all right.
So, thank you.
Thank you.
I got a 20 Camp Weaver. A lot of fun out there. That thing has gotten just bigger and bigger and bigger, so it's nice.
So we can count on you, can't we, Hal?
I think that's Wrangler Shootout weekend. But anyway, is it Chris?
I think so.
Big soccer tournament in town. I don't know if anybody knows what juggling is in soccer with the ball. Rosa picked up her 501,000 card from her coach. There's nobody on the team. She went 1,090 without it hitting the ground. Wow. She's done really, really well, and proud of her. I can remember when she did 2, and she said, "I'll never get to 10." I said the same way you would never do the ripstick and never do the hula hoop. So anyway, and this is kind of personal for those of you who are in your 50s and grew up spending the night. On Boy's birthday and watching Shock Theater and the Raven and the Pit and the Pendulum and Werewolf and Mummy and all that stuff. Letting the big lizard out tomorrow, Godzilla.
Judge Hassel. Is that $1 or get out of jail free?
It's all the above. But for years you've been hearing me talk about Hassel girls. And the first one is for my older daughter, Molly Hassel. And by the way, both Hassel girls over the years enjoyed a number of excursions out to Camp Weaver as well. And we would add our kudos to that. Molly Hassel this weekend today, in fact, is leaving for the 5th reunion of her graduating class from boarding school. And one of the things they do each year in addition to fundraising and other things is elect class officers for the next 5 years until the next reunion. And as some of you may remember, she was very involved in student government while she was at Exeter, and she just found out yesterday they had elected her president of the class. These next 2 are for number 2 daughter, Bailey Hassel, the Rotary Actor Executive Member, the Short-Term Youth Exchange participant, the bell ringer at Christmas time, and facilitator and counselor at Rotary Youth Leadership a couple years ago. She, on Sunday, graduated from Carolina. And I'm late this morning because we found out late yesterday afternoon, we've been scrambling a little bit, that she got a job in Washington, D.C. So.
This is a happy dollar. So I saw Honorable Mr. Hassel here. I had court duty the other day.
Jury duty?
Yeah, jury duty.
Doing your civic service.
Well, I had 110 people in the room. Good deal. I'll get out of this, no problem. They called 50 into the courtroom. All right, 1 out of 50. That's not going to happen. 8th juror, Ralph Jones. Get up there. It's a murder trial. I'm thinking one day that I'll be up there. I didn't know it was a murder trial, so I get up there. They talked about you're probably going to be here until next Tuesday. This is Wednesday. I'm thinking, oh my gosh, what the heck? Go through the state or the whatever the voir dire. Thank you. Well, yeah, went through the voir dire, but it was the state first, and then the defense came up. And I'm last, but the judge says, "Oh yeah, I have one more question. Any of the jurors know any judges?"
That doesn't necessarily get you off.
Robbie had done I'll remember that. Mike.
My happy dollar is bittersweet. I'm very happy to be able to see my family here on every Thursday because I've recently changed jobs. I'm no longer with Crothers and Roth. I'm with MERS North America, which is the North American branch of MERS Pharmaceuticals, which is a German pharmaceutical company that's been going strong since 1910. So, yeah, the transition's been going well. This is my 4th week, and just wanted to let you all be aware of that.
Actually, my daughter's tribe spent a few powwows at Camp Weaver also. I remember one particular one, the Braves were actually in the World Series, and kind of the dads hate to miss that. And I think we were responsible for the no fire water rule at the camp. Tomorrow I'm 5 years cancer free. And,
night made it official. I carried a very nervous 17-year-old out to Magnolia Manor to the Girl Scout center out there, and she went before the board, presented her Girl Scout Gold Award, and they both kind of walked out to joke to mom and dad with their head down and kind of moving slow, and the lady came out and went.
Boy, we got a lot of
demand here. Oh, yeah.
Darlene,
Just keep taking the money.
Couple more minutes.
All right, so my happy dollar is the highest form of flattery is to copy someone, right? So Chip and I are talking about, we're looking for a new car, so we're talking about what kind we're looking for. Well, I'm looking for an Audi. Chip says, well, I'm looking at an Audi. And I'm like, well, I want a manual. He says, well, now I want automatic. Well, I found out yesterday we bought the same color car, so it's a his and hers. He got a convertible. Sorry about that, Chip.
I have two. Mike is paying the first one. Mr.
Oh,
Conrad.
I am?
You're paying the first one.
Okay.
The first one is that we have our sidewalk sale, JDRF annual sidewalk sale got moved to May. Root beer floats, hot dogs, Friday through Sunday from 11 to 6 at every Fresh Market. It raises almost $400,000 for JDRF total because they do it at every Fresh Market, and only JDRF volunteers work it, so it's an awesome day. My second one is kind of big, but I only have $1 because I'm excited to announce.
Hal gave 20. We'll
Thank you. I'm expecting my second child.
Howard's not here. Howard's gonna bust me on this. So there's my dollar. I got my family's on the cover of this new local magazine. It's a neighborhood magazine. So list help.
All
right.
Picture in order.
$2.
A little snippet.
Relay for Life is this weekend out at Prolific Park from 11 to 11. Anybody that wants to walk, it's the Relay for Life, raising money to cure cancer, and it's just a wonderful event. Now, this is going to sound wrong, but I'm not going to be there, even though my office is the signature sponsor, because 9 months ago I told y'all my husband won a trip to Rome. So even before I knew about Relay, we booked this trip to Rome. So we're leaving this afternoon, direct from Charlotte, meeting the couple that we met on our honeymoon 27 years ago from New York, who we've kept in touch with this whole time. So Rome.
All right. We're going to do that and work out at Camp Carefree.
All right, real quick.
Got two real quick. We spent a nice weekend at Chapel Hill too. Our son Danny graduated from UNC Chapel Hill. He graduated with highest distinction and a Phi Beta Kappa, and with double majors in business and political science and a minor in environmental studies. He's all set for a job. In fact, he's kind of matching up whether he wants to live in Detroit, Philadelphia, or Providence in a program that will also allow him to study at Brown University for about 8 weeks this summer to learn about entrepreneurship. And another nice thing is that I've got to go to Chicago for business, and he's going to be there with some friends, so I'm going to be able to go to dinner with them tonight in Chicago. And the other happy dollar, Pam mentioned one of the sponsors of Camp Weaver, the playground, is Foresters Insurance, and we learned a week or so ago that our daughter Grace got a really nice 4-year scholarship sponsored by Foresters, so we hope to be there. So,
all right.
One more. Chip, yeah.
I'll be real quick.
You know, how is it when we collect so many when Buster isn't here?
That's right. No, we'll pass that on to Buster. Let him decide about that. This past Sunday was a very special day in our household. We went up to Boone and celebrated our oldest son, Austin's graduation from Appalachian State University. Wrapped that up, got that in the books, and of all the places he could go to work, it's going to be Silicon Valley, Seattle, or some other high-tech center. He's going to locate in Greensboro. He's got a degree at CIS, and we'll be working 2 blocks from here up Faro on Green Valley Road.
Grandpappy says a secret is something you tell one person at a time. All right, let's see. Steve Brennan introduce our speaker. You don't even need that.
Since everyone was so happy this morning, I'm just going to cut to the chase. It is actually a great honor to have Don Milholin here with us today from the Out of the Garden Project. Amber and I both are very involved with the Out of the Garden Project. Our church is privileged to be able to host them in the back section of our church. And so we've been able to watch it grow from when they first moved into a little corner to now 8,000 square feet of space. And if you haven't had an opportunity to come serve out there, you're missing out. It's so amazing what really happens. I don't want to take any more time away from Don though, and so please give a welcome to Don Milholin.
Thank you very much. Appreciate being here. I do remember meeting your district governor, many of you, or some of you may have been out to our warehouse at C3 Church on South 68 for meal packing. Cindy Hewitt had organized, we had 125, actually ended up having 200 people there during the day, packing like 64,000 macaroni type meals out of our warehouse. I want to tell you a little bit about myself so it makes sense, but Out of the Garden Project is now the largest charity in the Piedmont whose mission is feeding children. But it started 5 years ago out of our local elementary school, Moorhead, where we started serving 6 families. I had been in music ministry for nearly 18 years and went to the pastor at the church I was serving and said, I want to offer free meals on Wednesday night. He just wasn't interested. And so the next month, we started Out of the Garden Project. So sometimes those roadblocks can actually lead to amazing things. I also, just for full disclosure, I'm a member of Nat Green Kiwanis. We are the least rule-following group. So just be aware of that. But thank you so much for having me. It's always a pleasure to talk to you. I think that what I talk about is something that people aren't necessarily aware of. A recent study reported that Greensboro High Point is the second hungriest area in the entire United States. That study was completed in 2012. So I hear the wonderful things that are happening in this room, and other than pregnancy, very few of those will happen to any of the clients that we serve because of lack of opportunity. And so our mission is to provide tangible signs of love so that no children go to bed hungry, but the purpose is to nourish children's minds and bodies so that they can become all they are meant to be. I'm very fortunate. I don't have a dollar. I apologize. My oldest son graduated with a master's degree from Yale in opera last May. He did that because he sings really well. He heard his father sing from day one. He always had food, and he just received a 4-year stint at the Academy of Vocal Arts in Philadelphia, which is an opera training ground to launch the next round of opera singers. So he has been very fortunate. He really was kind of the poster child starting out, because I want every child to be able to, no matter what you think of President Obama, I want every boy and girl to believe they can become the President of the United States, and it shouldn't depend on whether or not they have food in their stomach. So how we started was by providing food on the weekends. And there's a national backpack program by Feeding America. It's for the individual child, to juice boxes, to instant shelf-stable milks, a can of Beanie Weenies, some individual things for the child only. For me personally and my wife, that can kind of cause a little more challenge in the household that's fractured already. And so we decided we'd provide 2 simple meals for a family to eat on the weekend. 6 to 7 pounds of food, generally like spaghetti and spaghetti sauce. You say, well, there's 3 meals in a day. Well, none of our clients would ever eat 3 meals a day. I remember my second oldest son, who's 17, used to play basketball up at Moorhead when he was in middle school, and I would call him to come home for dinner, and all the friends would say, well, what is dinner? And so for many of us in this room, we might not know anybody who's hungry, but I guarantee one of your relatives knows somebody. You can always ask one of your servers when you're out eating, which I am guilty of all the time. And so I just want to be really clear. It's not that you can't live whatever life you want. I just think that what we give really is more important than what we get. And obviously Rotary is an amazing club for that. This is the actual list. An area in California is the hungriest, and then we tied with New Orleans. 23% of our overall population is considered food insecure, which means they don't get enough food. Asheville came in at number 9. This is just an example of 73,000 public school students in Guilford County. More than 41,000 of them qualify for free reduced meals. That's actually just gone up to 58% this year. We serve right now, we just partnered with the United Way of Greater High Point, have taken over their backpack program, which is different from ours. We serve about 1,200 individual families every Friday at nearly half of the 124 schools in Guilford County. We provided about 500,000 pounds of food last year to school children. We also have a mobile food pantry I'll tell you about in a moment. But hunger is the greatest epidemic, I believe, facing the world today for which we have the cure. It is one of those things, however, unlike cancer, unlike AIDS, it doesn't attack everybody. And so I think that is why it has become, unfortunately, such a large issue in our world today. One of our AmeriCorps workers, we have one that just came back. She flew back on Mandela's death day from South Africa. She was there for 4.5 months, and she said she was a teacher. She's 21, but she was a teacher, and she said it's so interesting because everybody she met was hungry. It's just there was no question. You weren't worried about it because everybody was hungry. So it was kind of like if we're all in the same boat, it's a different animal. Out of the Garden Project, like I said, we began 5 years ago. Out of our house, we started packing around our dining room table, 6 bags. We got up to 330 bags. That's 10 rounds around our dining room table. And we were running out of space to live. In fact, Fox 8 News, when Julie Luck was with them, did a story on inspired living. And the cameraman, I remember in one of the photos, he was saying, do you have any personal items in your house? Because really, food was just stacked everywhere. For me, I started out in Fairfield, Iowa, is where I was born. I was always a big kid. I was 6'3", 225 pounds as a freshman in high school, and probably like some of you, it killed the coaches that I didn't want to play football. I didn't want to wrestle. To make it worse for me, I wanted to be an opera singer. And so if you can imagine what I endured growing up. On top of that, I lived in a 6-bedroom, 2-story stucco home. Stucco is what the country club's made out of, but stucco is held to the wall by wood strips. Our stucco was on the ground, and so I was made fun of what felt like me every day of my life by other friends. How can you live in that house? Well, what are you talking about? I don't know where else to live. Where would I live? And so I was made fun of at a very early age, but I knew I could sing better than anybody else I knew. And so I ended up, fortunately, got a scholarship at the University of Iowa, graduated with a master's degree in 5 years, then ended up teaching at Duke in Carolina. Who likes Duke? Who likes Carolina? So I really tick off both of you here, because I taught simultaneously at Duke and Carolina, and as some of you, the students couldn't imagine me teaching at that other university. But I was really living my life for me then. I was teaching at both universities. I sang more than 100 professional roles in a very short amount of time. But at the age of 33, I won the Metropolitan Opera auditions for North Carolina, and I really felt empty. I didn't get a lot out of people cheering for me. I really wanted people to be cheering with me. And so just a few months later, I went into full-time music ministry and was there for most of the last 18 years, but before coming full-time with Out of the Garden Project. My wife grew up. Her father became paralyzed when he was 5, or she was 5, died just a few years later. Her mother couldn't find a job. My wife was the youngest of 4 children, so she often just ate rice if there was food in the house, or bread without meat in it. Those 2 perfect storms met, and I tell you, sometimes those hardships in your past mold you, more importantly, for what you're going to do in your future. And so I always tell children when I speak to them every day that the world needs you to change it. And so what are you going to do today to change the world? Rotary has many, many programs to change the world, but I think we aren't aware of the incredible impact we can have right here in our neighborhood. I think I pushed the button. So we have 3 programs. Operation Backpack. Feeding America asked us to not call it the Backpack Program because we offer more than twice the amount of food in one of our bags, and it's for the whole family. We have a mobile food pantry, the only one of its kind in the Piedmont, where we fill our box truck with food that's donated from a couple of grocery stores with fresh produce, meat, bread, food from the federal government and the state. We end up passing out about 35 to 45 pounds of food once a month to every family member who comes. Today we have a drop-off at Blueford Elementary, just south of Dudley. We'll have usually about 50 people there. Tuesday we were at Faulkner. We had 71 families, but we're giving out a little more than 40,000 pounds of food every month, about half of that through our mobile food pantries, half through Operation Backpack. And so for those of you who are supporters of Greensboro Miniature Second Harvest, that's phenomenal. Please don't ever stop supporting those organizations. I know Mike Aiken. We went down and talked to him before we started our organization saying, we really have a passion for children. That doesn't seem to be your main focus. We don't want to compete at all. And he said, man, feed as many people as you can. I mean, the reality is we're feeding not 2,000 of the 41,000 children that are in need here in Guilford County. Our Feeding Enrichment Center, because of a group just like this, my Kiwanis, Denise Turner-Roth, our former city manager, came to speak last year. She talked about all these empty buildings the city has in town. I went up to her afterward and I said, I run the largest charity you've never heard of, but I'd like you to give me one of those buildings in the worst area of town that I could do a feeding enrichment site. She said, well, we do have a building over on Clifton Road. I said, well, you don't know this, but I just got a $20,000 grant to feed children in the Clifton Road area. And so a few months later, what I've been told, if you work for the city, which was lightning speed in less than 3 months, we had access and they gave us this building. All we had to do was paint the interior. It's the Folk Recreation Center on Clifton Road, 3910. And we did it last summer. Now this summer, we just officially, the zoning committee changed it. We're gonna have an on-site pantry, which is so incredible about partnerships and why I love to come speak to other organizations, is I was trying to stay in that building. I didn't want to have to pay for it because C3 Church gives us 9,000 square foot of space, won't allow us to pay electricity. They give us $1,000 a month toward our administrative costs because they believe children are the most important thing for their mission. And so I couldn't pay for this building owned by the city, and so I tried to get partners. And Jen Kimbrough for Partners for Healthy Youth, she contacted somebody else. Well, lo and behold, now Cone Medical Group is putting in the first ever teen health clinic in part of this building that we didn't use last year. And so there's going to be a teen health clinic on one side of the aisle. On the other side is going to be our on-site pantry. And I've already talked to Dr. Doolittle, a real doctor in town, who's the chief medical officer of this facility, saying, I want you to write prescriptions for everybody you find that needs nutrition for them to come next door, because there's such a relationship of illness and lack of nutrition. So we're really trying to do something that nobody else has done. We're also trying to get immunizations at our mobile food pantries in the fall. Our first program, we provide 2 simple meals. Sorry, I misspelled that. That was really late last night. 6 to 7 pounds of food for the whole family. We began with 1 school in 2009. Today we serve actually nearly half of the 124 schools in Guilford County. Today we pack more than 1,100 bags every Friday that volunteers come to our warehouse to deliver to our schools, with more than 7,500 pounds of food needed each week. And I'm telling you, that's a lot of food that we need each week. 7,500 meals plus sponsoring. Each child is about $7.50, so you can do the math for 36 weeks out of the year with 1,100 children. What we pack, that's just a little more of what we just talked about. Southwest High School is really cool. We don't even serve them. They decided to do a food drive for us and raise the most food of any school in town. Carruthers and Roth actually raised the same amount as a business, but this was the most amount by any school. These are mobile food pantries, our second portion. Smith High School on the left, Hunter Elementary School. You can see down on the left, the woman in the purple, she runs for Guilford County Schools a nursing program. It's for children who are interested in nursing. So this one Saturday, 10 of the children she works with came out to help pass out bags. Faust Elementary, that's actually my youngest daughter, Aurora, in front, followed by the principal, Mary Conway. In the middle on the bottom, that's Greensboro Day School. Bengals, Tigers are out there helping us that day. This is just kind of how we began. This is our house up in the left-hand corner. That's our dining room table that's filled with collections. And we are not a religious organization, okay, but I'm going to delve in a little bit. That my grandfather was a Lutheran minister. We're intentionally not a religious organization, and yet at the same time, we're 100% faith-based, meaning I have no clue where we're going to get the money. No, that doesn't mean we're ignorant. I mean, my board did say, Don, we'd really like you to have an actual sponsor before you take on any more schools. I think I had 40 schools at that time. And so we do have sponsorship, enough money that we raised to cover that. But I really believe, just like with Rotary, when you toss out positive things into the world, they come back. And an example of this at C3 Church, to be so thankful for them, they don't charge us rent, that our board voted to give a $5,000 one-time gift to C3, just as a way of saying thank you, because we had a strong financial year. And we went out and gave $5,000. I spoke during much of the service with Whitman Tolan, who's the pastor. He called me that afternoon. Don, he said, so far we've raised $8,000 that they want to give to you. And I talked that morning, when you do something good for the world, it comes back. And I said, it may not come to me, but this will exponentially be changed. And so my board instantly said, didn't we say to give them $50,000? Yeah. We gave them 5, got back 3 extra. I just wonder what that would have done. But that's the warehouse when it was empty on the bottom there. We had just moved in with 330 bags, and now 2.5 years later, we pack more than 1,100 bags. We had 4 of these little shelves on the upper right-hand side. They would empty and be filled every week, but we really just never knew where the food would come from. This is just a view of Out of the Garden Project. Brian Starrett and his wife are down in the right-hand corner. He's one of our board members. He's at Brooks Pierce. And this is just how the world changes for me. We were playing tennis one night. I didn't know him. I met him 4 years ago. I've been searching for a lawyer to be on our board. He said, well, I really am interested in that. My wife has a master's degree in nonprofit management, so that was really cool. And that's a picture of our Hearts for Hope that happens at Starmount Country Club every September. Mark your calendar, September 20th. It's kind of like dining for friends. We ask people to host dinner parties at their homes. We come together. We've been very fortunate for that. On the left, the volunteers for the University of Tennessee, I got a call saying, hey, we're coming for a fall break to Greensboro. Could we volunteer for you guys one day? And so we were there, and I think I had 13 shirts left, and they were leaving, and I said, you know what, I think I have some shirts. Can I give you some shirts? And I went back, no, there were only 13 of them, and there were 13 of them. I said, would you just get one of your people to take a picture in front of something that means something for you back at Tennessee? Well, all 13 of them gathered in front of whatever this statue. Does anybody know what it is? I'm guessing it was the original volunteer, but I have no idea. Obviously, it looks a little bizarre. That's a typical Wednesday at our warehouse down left. We had about 6 different groups that night, and I remember so distinctly that one of them were Girl Scouts from Grimsley. The other was the Agnostics, Atheists, and Skeptics Club from UNCG. And when they called me originally a year and a half ago, they said, Don, we're a little worried you say the word God in your mission. I said, well, I don't care what you want to call it. Something bigger than yourself. I said, my only rule for you guys coming out, you have to believe in something greater than yourselves, and your primary mission is to want to feed hungry children. And so Brian Starrett, who you just saw, he said, Don, nobody brings atheists and Girl Scouts together like you do. Yeah, that's a typical Wednesday. It's several church groups. The first of its kind mobile food pantry. Fresh produce, obviously, is what we want. We have, I believe, 20 food deserts here in Greensboro. We distribute to many of those. Our 2 AmeriCorps workers on the left, Northern Elementary School, actually was collecting food because we took over a school in Alamance County that lost its funding. And Northern Elementary School said, hey, we'll do a food drive, and they collected 2,000 pounds of food. Down on the left are mothers who brought their children to our Clifton Wright Educational Center last summer. That's actually going to become our headquarters now just for administrative purposes. Jamestown Elementary 5th graders come to the warehouse. We have regular children's field trips. And it's just bizarre how the teachers say, you know, that was their favorite field trip. The parents said they've never been so excited about a field trip. And I think it's because it's hands-on. They actually make it. It's like guys mowing the yard. I hate mowing the yard, but I love when it's done because it looks so different. You know, that you really feel you've accomplished something. I think that's where the kids are. How we receive support. Evan and Ellie are an example. They went around their neighborhood selling these little rubber band bracelets, and they raised $25 and gave it to Out of the Garden. Kids will have birthdays. They'll collect food and give it to Out of the Garden. Jones Elementary School is the first time ever their ACES program combined with Sternberger and several others. They collected bottles of water and put beautiful phrases on them, and they said, we only want this to be given to the people who are helping the children need the help. I've never had that done before, but it's beautiful, a beautiful idea. I'm getting to the feeding of the 5,000 in just a minute. These are pictures. Carly Schnitzler was valedictorian of Grimsley's High School last year, 2012. She was our camp coordinator last summer. She didn't even tell me she was valedictorian. She just said she wanted to help out. We just have amazing volunteers. So back to the religious side, and it doesn't matter. This is not about religion, but there's a really cool story in a book called John about somebody says, let's feed these 5,000 people. And these people are going, how in the world would we feed 5,000 people? And a little boy said, I have 5 loaves and 2 fish. And I think then Susie says, you know what, I have a loaf of bread and a fish. Then a whole boatload comes in and said, I have some fish. And eventually, 5,000 people were fed. I always thought that was the most wonderful made-up story as a child, because it was just so grand. And I now believe that that number was very low, because in March of 2012, we fed 5,000 people for the first time over a weekend. Now we serve in excess of 10,000 people every weekend through our programs. And it's just because that one person decided to make a difference. These are a list of our schools. They're alphabetically organized. I hope you might see yours on there. We don't serve all of those today. One Rotary Club, Guilford, Southwest Guilford, they meet up at the Thai restaurant. They sponsored bags at Bessemer for 2 years. They would pack bags in their club. These are just some of the sponsors we have. We've been very fortunate in the partnerships that we've created. Those are all churches. This is the last slide. I'll take any questions you have. People always say, how can you help? And there's a wonderful story. Keith Wood, who's a lawyer at Carruthers and Roth, I remember when his son was 5 years old, a Cub Scout, and I talked to their group over at Christ United Methodist Church. And their daughter was about 9 then, and the daughter said, excuse me, sir, would you prefer that we give you food or a check? And I told her, I said that for children, I said, like you, I would love for you to go to the grocery store every weekend with your mom and pick out 3 items you'd like to eat that weekend and give them to somebody else. We'd love to have them out of the garden. Give them Salvation Army Urban Ministry, just give 3 items every weekend. I said, if your daddy's tired, like he probably so often is, he can just write a check. And so I used her and Keith as example. Jody Wood, the mom of the family, delivers 54 bags every week to Blueford Elementary School. So number one, always people, do you want money or volunteers? I always want to volunteer first. I want to volunteer first because if you come out, I will get you to be a supporter, whether that's money or not. I've never been interested much in the money side. I know it's necessary, but I'm just saying changing the world for me is even more necessary. So volunteer, sponsor a child or a school, find a friend to do the same, and repeat. We've just been very fortunate. Last November of this past year, Second Harvest Food Bank, which is the local distributor for TFAP food, federal food, and state food and SNAP, they named us the exemplary agency of the year of 418 agencies in 18 counties. And I said, we've only received your food for 2 years. We don't even use your backpack program. Why would you select out of the Garden Project? I said, because you found a new way to feed hungry children. Because we put more food in our backpacks, but our mobile food pantry has done nowhere. I did find there's one other in Albemarle, if you know where Albemarle is, because a doctoral student from UNC just came to interview me about food banks, and I thought we were the only one in the state, but there is one in Albemarle, we're the only one in the Piedmont. But it really is finding, I always tell children especially, but it's not too late as adults, so I was 48 when I started this project, that how are you going to change the world? We all have lived up to this point making a difference in our lives, and I'd sung 100 opera rolls. That was enough for me. I still sing for fun, but it's more fun singing for somebody else, and I want everybody to be like your recipient today, having the opportunity, if they choose, to go to college, to become all that he or she can be. So thank you so much for having me. I'd love to answer any questions that you have, but I appreciate very much the opportunity to speak. Any questions? Thank you so much. You have a little blue thing on your table there. If you have any more, you can always contact us out of the Garden Project. So many of you have probably been to the warehouse. I appreciate very much your time.
Thank you, Don. And we have a book we're going to donate to Cone Elementary School, Harry Winkle Smith, and I've inscribed it with today's date, your name.
That's great.
And if you would, please draw a winning ticket here. Read the last 3 digits. There's a deck of cards out there somewhere, Dale. I think it's in the cash box.
Last 3 digits, 701.
701.
Cheryl.
Cheryl. Get some money to go to Italy with.
One more thing, you guys, just so that everybody knows.
Yeah, I do want to thank you. I received a $500 check from you all recently, and I'm incredibly grateful for that. If every service club could donate that to worthy causes, what an incredible difference you're making. So thank you very much. I'm very grateful.
Thank you, Steve. Yeah.
You go, Bobby.
Have a great day.